Now you've learned some of the more common terms and definitions used in our career field. Some of them require you to go a bit deeper. For example, the different types of hazards that exist: physical, moral, and morale hazards. Your exam might ask you the individual types and never ask you to define the general term itself. Make sure to know how insurers view risk and the methods for handling it, and know the difference between pure and speculative risk, and that the only insurable type is pure risk. We talked about loss as being the end result of risk. It is what insurance covers. Whether a loss is actually covered by a carrier depends on the policy and the language contained within. Keep in mind that not all risk is handled by purchasing an insurance policy. You might see a question asking what type of risk handling technique could be described as a client having co-insurance provision in their health insurance policy. Of course, the answer is sharing. Another might be, which risk handling method is illustrated when a person buys an insurance policy? Transfer of risk. Our next section discusses the elements of insurable risk. Not everything is insurable, as all risk must meet specific qualifications. Is there a high chance of a catastrophic loss? Is the premium reasonable in relation to the benefits provided by the policy? Then we'll cover a serious concern of underwriters: adverse selection. This is the tendency of poorer risks seeking coverage when it's needed most. Review this information closely. It will appear on the state exam. We'll also look at the data and statistics carriers use to predict the future. This is the law of large numbers. We'll discuss different types of insurers, as well as markets, types of producers, and legal requirements that must be met in order to sell certain types of products. You're likely aware that state and federal governments provide insurance coverage like flood insurance and Medicare and Medicaid. We'll compare government plans to private and explain why governments deal with insurance in the first place. We'll finish this part of the lesson studying independent financial rating systems and how they impact insurers and their customers. It's a good idea to spend a bit of time in this area as well, because as this section continues, it looks at different ways that insurance companies market their offerings and the various insurance distribution systems that are being used to advertise and sell products.